Okay, so let's be real for a second. Have you ever really tried to get serious about saving money? You cut back, you say no to that extra coffee, you diligently move money over to your savings, and then you check your account and it feels like, what, you've gone nowhere? If you've ever felt that pit in your stomach, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the psychology of why saving feels so pointless at first and why a simple mental shift can completely change the game.
And that feeling, oh, it's so common. You put in all this effort, you make all these little sacrifices, and the reward is, well, you can barely even see it. Your brain is practically screaming at you that this whole thing isn't working, that all your discipline is for absolutely nothing.
And that's the million-dollar question, right? It's the thought that pops into your head. If the progress is so painfully slow that you can't even feel it, why on earth should you even bother? And you know what? It's a perfectly logical thought. But it's also the exact thought that stops so many people dead in their tracks, right before they build any real financial stability.
So, this whole experience, it actually has a name. Welcome to what we call the nothing is happening phase. And I need you to hear this. It is not a sign that you are failing. It's a completely normal, totally predictable stage of saving. The problem isn't your bank account, it's your brain.
Think about it. Our brains are wired for immediate rewards. When you spend money, bam, you get an instant reward. You buy a coffee, you get to enjoy it right now. You buy a new shirt, you can wear it tonight. But saving promises this like vague, far off reward that your brain can't see or feel. It's this invisible action with zero immediate dopamine hit. So our brain basically flags it as a waste of time. This initial, super frustrating period is also known as the dead zone. And here's the key takeaway. Getting through the dead zone is the single biggest filter that separates people who successfully build savings from those who don't. It's not about how much you make. It's about whether you have the grit to push through this phase without giving up. Okay, so if saving isn't about feeling progress right away, then what are we even doing? This right here is where we get to the core of it all, and it is a complete game changer. It turns out we've been thinking about the purpose of our first savings all wrong. I want you to just let that sink in for a second. The first money you save isn't for a down payment or a vacation. Its real job is to be an invisible shield. It's there to absorb the unexpected punches life throws at you. That surprise car repair, the sudden medical bill. It's a buffer standing between you and total chaos. And what happens when that shield just isn't there? Well, every tiny emergency blows up into a major crisis, doesn't it? A flat tire suddenly means credit card debt. A friend's wedding becomes something you have to say no to. You end up living with this constant, low-grade hum of financial stress because you know deep down there is absolutely no safety net. So you see, while you're stuck in that dead zone and you feel like you're getting nowhere, something huge is actually happening under the surface. You're building stability. You are literally lowering the pressure in your nervous system. You don't feel progress in the way you expect, but what you're actually building is the quiet, growing absence of panic. Okay, so you did it. You pushed through the dead zone. You've been building up your protective shield. So what happens next? Well, this is the part that almost everyone quits before they get to see. This is the turning point where everything starts to change. This is the snowball. And this is a perfect roadmap of that journey. You start with the habit, which feels completely useless. Then that money becomes your shield, taking the hits for you. And once that shield is strong enough, you finally hit a tipping point. And it's only then, after that solid foundation is in place, that you get to see the magic of the snowball effect, where your money finally feels like it's growing on its own. And here's the absolute tragedy in all of this. Most people stop saving because it feels pointless, but they're stopping right on the edge of the moment where it would have started to feel amazing. They do all the hard, invisible work, and then they just walk away, right before the visible reward finally shows up. So how big does the shield need to be? What's the goal here? Well, most financial experts suggest aiming for 3 to 6 months worth of your essential living expenses. That's your emergency fund. That number, That is what gets you to the tipping point, where you can finally start thinking about growth instead of just playing defense all the time. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but does it mean I have to sacrifice my entire life just to save money? How do you actually build this shield without feeling totally deprived? Well, it all starts with one more mental shift and a really simple, balanced plan. We have to flip the script in our heads. Instead of seeing savings as a punishment, money that's locked away that you can't enjoy, start seeing it for what it really is. It's future freedom. It is control over your own life. It's the power to say no to a job you hate. It's buying yourself time. It's buying future choices. But, and this is really important, you can take this too far. If you get so hyper-focused on saving that you start missing out on life, or it's increasing your anxiety, something's wrong. The goal is not to be the richest person in the graveyard, right? The goal is balance.
And a fantastic framework for finding that balance is the 50-30-20 rule. It's so simple. Basically, 50% of your take-home pay goes to your absolute needs, like housing and food. 30% is for your wants, the fun stuff that makes life worth living. And that last 20%, that's dedicated to your savings and paying down debt. It's a sustainable plan that builds your future without completely destroying your present.
So, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this. When you're in that early phase, when you're feeling discouraged, remember that the most important work is often the work you can't see. Building the foundation of a skyscraper doesn't look like much from the street, but without it, nothing else is even possible. Your money is not just a number in an account. It's a tool. It's buying you stability, it's reducing your stress, it's creating options for you down the road. So the next time you look at your balance and that little voice in your head says, "What's the point?" I want you to ask a different question. What kind of freedom? What kind of choices and what kind of future is this money quietly building for you right at this very moment?